What is up, everybody? Jordan here with the Deck Box, coming back to you today with a regionals update. So I'm going to be going over my experience at the World's Open this past weekend. Before I start on kind of how my rounds went and I guess the deck itself, I'm not going to go through every single card in the deck, by the way. This was a list that was put out before with just 2 changes. But what I'm going to start with is kind of my my experience at Worlds this past weekend. First of all, I had the great chance to sport the logo on a shirt and the playmat and stuff, so that was awesome for me. Best start of the experience really was sitting down across from first kid I was playing. I think he was a fresh master from what he told me, and he said that he actually watched the channel, and I thought that was super cool. So that was a great start off for me. But anyway, we drove down Friday night, me, my friend Erica, and my sister Leah. We drove down Friday night, didn't get there till about 9:30, 9:45. We were sharing a B&B with Aaron Lukenbach, Johnny from Trainer TV, Dan from Dead Draw Gaming, his friend Cod McGraw, awesome dude. Papa Blastoise and his wife were there. So it was just a really, really good time hanging out with those people. That was kind of separate from the event. But then when we got there, of course we had the typical just good time walking around the venues and checking things out. They had this awesome, like, I don't know if it's Legos. I don't think it's Legos. It's some different type of thing that's kind of like Legos. But of all these Pokemon, this giant Pokeball set up. This is all on my Twitter. Sorry, I'm going through some of this stuff. But then, of course, there's Lego Blastoise. It was just like the coolest Pokemon experience I've ever been a part of. I thought it was a really, really good time. The setup was awesome. The tournament was run super smooth. Like, I know that's obvious because with it being Worlds, not only do you have the best of the best players, but you have the best of the best TOs, the best of the best judges. Everything was just on point. Everything went off without a hitch from what I saw. I really didn't see any issues. Correct me if I'm wrong. I really didn't see any of that. So it was a really good time. Getting to hang out there, got to hang out with friends, kind of walk around the city a little bit, check it out. Like I said, the venue was just really nice overall, but Nashville as a whole is just a really cool city. If you ever get the chance to go, I would highly suggest it. Just a really nice put together city. So that was kind of more of the, I guess more of my, experience outside of the game. We'll say that. Sorry, let me get my face back up here. There it is. There we are. And I fixed it. So anyway, from there, like I said, got to hang out with friends and stuff. But when it comes to the tournament, I did play the spice list that I've sent out recently on YouTube. I'll leave a link for it up on the top here. At this point, it's past the rotation. The day that you're seeing this video is the day after rotation occurred, so a lot of these cards are going to change in the future if the deck continues in the future. But I played kind of this craziness on the screen here. There's the bottom row. So just kind of walk you through some of the matches as best as I can remember. Like I said, the first kid I played, really, really cool kid, really good at the game. Really knew what he was doing. He was playing Zoroark Garbodor. And that was one that I was actually kind of looking forward to playing against, because I felt like I knew what I was doing against it. But man, did he put up a fight. It was a really, really good series. Not really a full series. I won game 1, and then game 2 I don't even believe came to a close. So I won off of 1 game. With that, actually no, I take that back. I think he won game 2, and then we went to game 3, and I took that one. So it was really, really enjoyable getting to start the day off with a win, and like I said, a hard-fought win. It was one of those things where we had to. I take that back. We didn't even finish the game 2 because after game 1 was about 25 to 30 minutes long. Like, it was a long game. And so I'm not going to lie, like, I absolutely am not a proponent of slow play, but during the second game I really had to focus and make sure I'm not rushing things, because there's no point for me to rush at that stage of the game. I have game 1, so I'm going to play my game as smoothly as I can. If I make silly mistakes, not only will it cause me to lose or tie, either way. At that point, it was my win to lose, if anything, and I'd much rather have the 3 points than the 1, so just taking my time on things, not in a huge rush, if I'm being honest. And really, I don't think he was playing super fast either. At that point, he stayed pretty steady throughout. So that was a nice way to start the day with one win on the board. Round 2, actually played against Rukan Shao. That was kind of intimidating to me because he's on pro team, he's on Team DDG, so that means he talks with these guys, he knows the optimal lists, and he's really, really good at the game. He's only been playing for about a year, but he knows what he's doing. He also was playing Zoroark Garbodor, and I thought, I really don't want to play Zoroark lists all day because we're not going to finish our games. I want to play anything besides Zoroark. Give me something that I can just kind of sweep through. I really kind of wanted to see Rayquaza because I wanted to school it with the Dene. So seeing a second Zoroark come out, I was kind of, just working with it, whatever. So that one, I took game 1 pretty handedly, if I remember correctly. Game 2, he took. And then we went to game 3. We actually made it to game 3. And I'll talk about probably the coolest play I made. I believe it was in game 3. I actually puzzled back. I forget the exact card I puzzled back, but I puzzled back something and Mew, or Mew EX. And when I did it, he goes, "Really? Mew EX? You're pulling that out with puzzle?" And I was like, "You'll see, you'll see." And I was waiting because my bench was full. I knew he was going to knock something out the next turn. I was waiting to set up a cool play, and actually it wasn't even the next turn I used it. I think he ended me at that point. It ended up back in my deck, but I wanted to get Mew back in because honestly, when I was using the puzzles, I only needed the one card I was grabbing, and then I was like, okay, what card could I get for later that I could do something really spicy with? This list is all about spice. You do crazy things that your opponent just does not expect. Like actually earlier when Rukan and I were playing, I believe I actually got to use Celesteela against him, take down. Oh no, I'm gonna talk about that play in a second. This was first. So anyway, I get Mew out a little bit later, and what I do is I use the versatile ability, attach a Rainbow Energy, and use his Trashalanche on his Zoroark GX for a one-hit knockout. Just completely took it out. And honestly, that was a play that I hadn't even considered in testing. It was always use Zoroark's attack, copy it, hit for weakness on Buzzwole. But this time, just mid-game, I was like, wait a minute, I can copy anyone's attacks. So I used it and copied his Trashalanche and was able to take a nice one-shot there, which really kind of swung the game in my favor. That may have even happened in game 1, if I remember correctly. It could be either one, don't remember. But it was there's just certain plays you remember, and that was one that I remembered. It was super fun to do. So Mew EX definitely put in some work. Then actually was Celesteela. This was another spicy setup. I had to really dig to get these cards out, but I was able to get this down when we each had 3 prizes left. This was actually, this I do know was game 3. I was able to get it down. We both had 3 prizes left, and I believe it was turn 0 of time. And I knew I had to do this to get down to 1 prize and then close out the game. So I get Celesteela down, and then I dig to find, I had Kukui in hand, and I knew I had to play Kukui to pull this play off. If I didn't play Kukui, the play doesn't go off, there's no chance of winning the game because I have 2 turns to take 3 prizes. Had to do it. So I play the Kukui to dig a little and get the 20 extra damage. I have to find Choice Band, Rainbow Energy, and I think I was able to dig enough to find my puzzles. Choice Band, Rainbow Energy, attach those. I think it may have been a Zoroark in the active with the DCE or Coco, one of the 2. So I got those up there. Counter catchered up at Zoroark. So if you're doing the math, 160 with the Choice Band is 190, and then the Kukui was 210. I got to one-shot a Zoroark GX with Celesteela's Moonraker. Felt really good, not even going to lie, because I knew that there had to be a better reason to play Celesteela than just one-shot big basics, and it turns out there was. I was using Kukui all wrong the whole time. I was using it for you know, taking final knockouts with Zorarks and things. It's like, no, I can do it with Celesteela. So actually, I think that was my final turn of the game. So I went down to 1 prize on my final turn, and I'll get to that in a second. So I went to Rukan's turn. He took 2 prizes on me, and so I just needed 1 more prize. I had a Zorak on the bench with a DCE, Guzma in my hand, and he had basics on his bench. He had a Trubbish. It would have been an easy knockout, but that was it. That was time. After, you know, his final turn, we both had 1 prize left, so we had to call it a tie. So I was kind of bummed because, like I said, 1 more turn, and I had the win. It was in my hand. It was on my board already, so I didn't even need to play my hand. Aside from the Guzma, it was just there. It was set to go. So I was kind of disappointed that I had to take a tie, because a win is it's so much better. It's a win. But it was a great honor and time to play against Rukan. He's a nice guy, and the fact that I was able to go toe to toe with him and not totally fumble all over myself, I was super excited about that. So for me, this tournament was all about, you know, I'm improving. It's the start of a new season. I need to see how well I can do, and I was okay with that at that point. So 101 at that point. Going into the next round, it was Zorak Galissapod, I believe. I think that was it. Again, another Zorak list, so I was kind of getting bummed out at this point, thinking that the Zorak Galissapod just wasn't going to end. Or the Zorak just wasn't going to end. So this one was another tie. That was honestly one I didn't really test a whole lot. Can't really one-shot Galissapod with this deck aside from Celesteela, apparently. But it's tough getting it down to 6 prizes otherwise. So things didn't set up quite right. I did win game 1, long fought game 1. Then he took game 2, went to game 3. That one could have gone either way. We weren't far enough into it to really know who would have won it, and we just closed it out with a tie. So that was kind of a bummer. 1-0-2 at that point. Next game, come up against another Zorak list. It was Zorak McCargo, actually. I believe I took game 1, and it may have been a Swift 2-0, if I remember correctly. Pretty simple. That deck I had played against. I think I played against that deck once before in testing, and it was really one of those things where I looked at it and said, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to take down the Slugmas early. If I take down the Slugmas early, I have no problems. You know, he can't really pick his cards. It's just playing against Zorak at that point, and then schooling with Buzzwole and things like that. So I think that was a Swift 2-0. So we're at 2-0-2 at that point, feeling pretty good. Going to the next match, and it's another Zorak GX deck. Guys, I went into this tournament expecting Ray to be everywhere. I played against 0 Ray. Just a little spoiler. 0 Ray the entire tournament. I played against 0 Buzzrock the entire tournament. I did not see any of those. I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. So, anyway, moving into this round, it was another Zorak list. I believe it was... Oh, I can't even remember. Oh, sorry. Last round that I won, it wasn't Zorak McCargo, it was Zorak, but Net won that one. This was Zorak McCargo. We each took a game, and first game I really got off a little easy because he made a misplay. Actually, both of us made a misplay in that game, and I ended up getting the win off that. He won the second game, like, right as time was initially called, and so we started shuffling up, and we're looking at each other, we're like, we're not going to be able to do anything in 4 turns unless we dog, so we just want to tie, so we did that. So now I'm sitting at 2-0-3, undefeated 5 rounds in, so that was nice that I was undefeated, but it was kind of like, okay, I'm sick of these ties, I need some more points. So we're sitting at, what was that, 9 points? 9 points at the time. Then I go up against a Zorak Lycanroc. And this was one that I was not looking forward to. You know, I'd done a little bit against Buzzrock in testing, and I knew that was winnable. Not great, but winnable. And I knew how to play it. Didn't really test against Zorak Lycanroc. Wasn't expecting much of it. And I figured just take down Zoraks, try to take down the Rockruffs early. Didn't quite work out. I got O2'd in that pretty badly. Lycanroc just absolutely schooled no matter what you did. I think I had one game where I came down to one prize, one or two prizes. So I kind of worked it a little, but it wasn't great. Then from that, went on to the next round. So we're sitting at 2-1-3. This next round, this kid was playing Magnezone with Duskmane and Dialga, and that was a quick O2. I mean, that deck just absolutely destroys things. Wasn't expecting to see it, to be honest. I know Travis Nunless mentioned it on the Super Oddcast, and he was kind of hyped on it a bit, so I knew someone may, take that and say, okay, well, I'm going to give it a shot. This kid played it really, really well. Not much I could do to get around things. It's like once you take a knockout, he's going to follow up with something bigger, and you're going to be behind. So there wasn't a whole lot I could do. So that was kind of a bummer. So I'm sitting at 2-2-3. So back-to-back losses after having an undefeated day. Wasn't feeling great. And then I almost dropped, but I was like, you know what? It's the last round. They only did 8 rounds for this. I'm just gonna play it, see what happens. So I came up against a kid playing Lapras, which that again was one that I didn't really expect to see, at least not with this good of a record at that point. So we played first game I won. That was the thing about this deck, I will say. This would be an amazing League Challenge deck where it's best of one, because if it seems like it wins the first game most of the time. The only times I lost a series is if it lost the first game. Other than that, it at least tied at best, or at worst. So anyway, I won the first game of that, and I figured out really quickly he didn't have Kukui in his list, which was really odd to me because Lapras caps out at 190 with a choice band. So I knew that I pretty much had it in the bag as long as I kind of played close to the chest and just watched my stuff. He did play Volcanion Prism Star, so that caused some problems. He was able to take game 2 because of that. He got plenty of spread damage off, so with or without choice band, he was doing what he needed to do. So he won game 2. And these are both long games. Excuse me. Game 3 of that went to time, and this is where it gets stupid exciting. So I had taken 2 prizes at that point. He had taken 2 prizes at that point. We're both sitting at 2 prizes. Few crazy things happened in this. I believe Celesteela was able to take a big knockout throughout the series. And then, I was able to do Flying Flip and kind of spread things early on to set things up. So I did those in the early games. But the most exciting part of the entire series, well, there's 2 parts. I think game 1, I was able to actually use, this is where I used Trickster GX to copy Lapras's attack to one-shot it. Third game was, I took the first 2 prizes that way. Then I had hit a Lele for 120, he retreated it. Then I hit the other Lele for 150. We go to time. And I did the 150 on my first turn of time. So the Lele's at 150 and 120. So on my last turn of the entire tournament, I had to get, I had DCE on a Coco, so I was good there. I could spread and at least take down the 150. Again, he's sitting at 4 prizes, I'm sitting at 4. I knew I could spread and take down that one. What I needed was a Guzma choice band, and it would, excuse me, and it would knock out the Lele. So, yeah, wasn't looking great. Actually, I think I still needed the DCE as well, Guzma choice band DCE. And so it wasn't looking fantastic. The turn before, he actually knocked out my Zoroark GX, one of my 3. So I went from 3 trades to 2, so he went down to 2 prizes. And I had like a 15 card hand, and he ended me to 3 cards. And in my hand, I had all the pieces I needed, aside from choice band, but all I needed was a puzzle or a choice band, and I was going to get it back. So he ends me to 3 cards. None of those 3 cards are what I need for the last turn. And I only have 2 trades now. So I do my draw. Then I do my initial trade. I get the choice band and some other random card. And then on the second trade, I hit the DCE and an Ultra Ball. So I get Ultra Ball for Lele, for Guzma. I bring up the 120 HP Lele, or 120 damage Lele. Do Flying Flip with Tapu Koko, hit 50 on the active, 20 on the bench Lele with only 20 HP left over. Took 4 prizes in the last game of the entire tournament to close out that and get a win. Super exciting. The judge watching even got a little excited watching it, so that was super fun, and that is why I play Koko in my DCE list. Koko's just, to me, that spread damage just really helps set things up, and so it was really, really nice to be able to do that. So some things coming from the list that I really liked. Zoroark, obviously, super good. Buzzwole put in a little bit of work with it being against a lot of Zoroark decks, but usually it only did it the first game, because after that they were able to kind of work around it. Koko was amazing. Celesteela was amazing, and we almost took Celesteela out the day before, and I just couldn't get myself to do it because, like, even Baby Mew couldn't, like, one-shot Buzz GX with this, so I wasn't feeling great about that. I used Baby Mew once, and it was just to finish off a Buzzwole. Really could have done without it, if I'm being honest. So another card I was actually kind of bummed was Dedenne, and it wasn't like I wasn't bummed because Dedenne didn't do what it was supposed to do. It's because Dedenne never even had a chance to do what it's supposed to do, because Rayquaza, I didn't see it the whole day. It was solely in there for Rayquaza. I wasn't able to use it. I did use Baby Mew to copy Dedenne's attack one time to take a knockout, because it was the best option we had to take the knockout. Nothing else would do it. So I had to play down Dedenne so Mew could copy Electro Chain to do 120, I think, to an already damaged Baby Buzz to close things out. So yeah, Mew EX was really solid as usual. Like I said, that Trash Lange play was nasty. Kartana GX is a busted card, especially when you're playing it with E-Hammers on top of that. So really, overall, really good. Didn't have to play Ringaroo at all, mostly because I manage my own resources pretty well. I must admit, I don't trade a ton if I don't need to. So I think that that card was unnecessary, but I still wouldn't cut it because I feel like there will be a scenario where that happens. So yeah. So anyway, if you want the list, I mean, like I said, it's the rotations happen, so these doesn't really matter anymore. But I will let you know I will most likely in the future, don't know when, don't know if it'll actually happen, but I may try to revive this deck in the new format, see if I can make something similar to it, because I really enjoyed playing it. Zoroark is now one of my favorite types of decks to play. Never thought I'd say that, but it is actually one of my favorite types to play. Yeah, so like I said, I really enjoyed the Worlds Tournament. If you get a chance next year, they're having it in DC. If you get a chance, go. Whether or not you're playing in Worlds, go play in the Open, play some side events, have fun. Such a good time, really well ran, and yeah, just great seeing old friends and meeting new people. So really good time. But anyway, guys, as usual, if you've enjoyed the content, please be sure to leave a like, say hey down in the comments. Let me know if you were at Worlds. Let me know what your experience was like. Let me know what you played if you did play. And as always, please be sure to subscribe if you have not already. So we will see you in the next video on the deck box, where I want to know what's in your box. Have a great night.